Hey guys, let's talk about Boston and how to move around Boston when you use a public transport. So, public transportation is important. A lot of people use it, obviously. If you look at Boston, I think Boston has a population of about 670,000 people. That's a lot of people. Imagine if 670,000 people got on the road and decided to drive. You can't contain it. The city just becomes unlivable. Okay. So, this topic hopefully will address that. We'll tell you how to pay, the best ways to pay around public transport across Boston, and more importantly, how to avoid risks, pros and cons of each. Okay. Who am I? I'm the CEO of Orukka. Orukka is a smart payment ring where you tap to pay. Okay. This is your ring, you tap to pay. This effectively becomes your wallet, your phone, your bank, anything. You don't need to walk around with your phones anymore, especially if you want to avoid, theft. If you want to just digital detox, you just stay away from your phones. You can tap this and go wherever you are. Okay, so we're excited with that. I came up with the idea, funny enough, actually, with public transport. So one of my best friends actually came to London to see me then. And then he came out of the train with his phone. Okay, and then he got stabbed just beside the lungs. Okay, they narrowly missed his lungs, which again, it was still traumatic. I can tell you, I was in the hospital throughout the Christmas period last year. So we came up with this now, which effectively allows you tap to pay wherever you are. Obviously, public transport is important. Most of our customers actually use one for restaurants, for going for runs, okay, for going for night out events, but mostly for public transport because you can tap to go. But I want to talk about Boston, how to go around Boston, the best way in terms of transportation. And you could decide for yourself whichever you choose to go with. So again, just looking at Boston, I think Boston is a huge metropolitan city, 670,000. Very great city. Just a fun fact, right, is Boston Tea Party, sparked the revolution, which shows how important it is for people to come together. Yeah. And so let's talk about again the transportation is really huge. There's a lot there. You've got the subway. You've also have the T that's called the T, and then you have that in red, orange, blue. I think there's green as well, green silver lines. And there's buses, commuter trains, there's ferries as well. So there's a lot of options to go with, especially if you want to use public transport and go from A to B easily. And the question is now is how you pay. Okay, what's the best way to pay? I'll give you five. Okay, so let's start with cash. So cash is king, as they say. Okay, a lot of people use cash, and it's cool because you can use cash. Again, you pay, you go where you want to go. There's no need to worry about people tracking you if you're worried about that. There's no need to go open a bank account if you, for some reason, you don't have a bank account. Although it's easy to open bank accounts these days, you can just open up your phone and open an app and you can get actually your bank on your fingers. If not, you can get your bank as well on your phone. So there's a lot of banks these days that is important that you can just open up easily. But if you don't want to, you can just pay cash and go where you go. You just have to be careful though, because in Boston, you pay transport, but you have to pay exact change because the bus drivers don't drive around with change. Why? There's risk of robbery. Okay, that's the risk there. So be careful with that. As long as you have enough cash, enough transportation, you can pay to go. The other thing as well is, hey, if you're there for a day or two in Boston, there's no need to go through any of the other, you know, um, city cards that they have there, which I will get into next. So it's easy to come in and out of. Needless to say, cash is being phased out across the world, and people can say any reason why. Well, let's not get into that now. I think for me, it's important to just know that you can use your cash whenever you want to, if you choose to, but it still carries a risk because if someone robs your cash, it's gone. If someone's stolen, it's gone. If there's a discount that you're supposed to get because you're paying cash, you don't get a discount. If there's a cap, so some of these transportation, they've got a cap on how much you spend per day. If you're paying cash everywhere you go and you're traveling for the entire day, you can end up spending $100 because you're paying cash. So they have no way of actually tracking and making sure that you maximize your discounts or you maximize your payments. That brings me to the next better, in my opinion, the next better way of paying, and that would be by your card. So in Boston, we have what's called the Charlie card. The Charlie card actually then is, allows you to make payments across the board. Okay, so you can then go from your bus to your subway T. You can go from there to commuter train. You can go from there into the ferries with the same card, the Charlie card. Generally, it costs about $240 per transaction, and they're free to get. Okay. The downside of that is that because it's free to get, you have to register. If you don't register, then it's not going to work, right? So that's something to watch out for. So a lot of things that are free, you have to give your data, you have to give your private information to get that free device or free card in this case. So be careful there. If you don't want to, then I think there's a minimum amount you need to top up to get away with that. One thing to notice, you can use a card, about 240. If you go across even the most expensive side, which is zone 1, it's $214 per month, which is, I think, is a good deal if you ask me. And so I'd prefer that over cash. So I'll say you go with a card if possible. Secondly is the discounts you get as well. So you get a lot of discounts in terms of if you're under 15, you get a young person discount. If you're over 65, you also get an old person's discount as well. So that's a good idea. I'll recommend the Charlie card over cash. Clearly because of the discounts you get. Also because you can go from one to the other. Okay, you can go from your ferries into the commuter rails, from the commuter rails into T. So that commute is actually cool, and you can just use the same card, the Charlie card, all across it. The downside with the Charlie card, I think we just mentioned at the parts is, there is an amount that you need to pay. You're giving up private information to use that card. That's a problem. Secondly, you always have to load and load and load that card. So you need to make sure you go into a stop and you go into the bus, and before you get on it, your last day, you just catch the train, or you just catch the rail, the commuter rail, which is even worse. That's not as frequent. If you get on there, you don't have enough money on the card because you didn't get a notification, or you're not monitoring it enough, you've missed it and you could get fined. Yeah, so that's something to watch out for. And so again, the discounts is good, but you always have to monitor your transactions on that. Okay. A better one, which you don't have to monitor your transaction as much, is to use your cards. So your bank cards would work. So if you have a bank card that has this what do you call this card? I'd call it the wireless symbol. Okay. It just looks like a Wi-Fi symbol, but it's done sideways. If you have that on your card, then you can just tap to pay. Right? It's called tap and pay. You tap on your way out and you tap on the way in as well. On the way in, on the way out, you tap in and out. So that allows you then, or the train guys allows you to check where you are, where you come in and out, and they give you a cost based on that. It's handy because you don't have to top up the card as you do with your Charlie card. Yeah, all you have to do is just make sure you have enough funds in your bank account, or you have a prepaid bank account that you can top up with as well and go. The advantage then is your Charlie card is only for transportation, right? So you can't do anything. If you had $50 and you put everything on your Charlie card, you've got nothing left, because that's it. You can't go buy coffee because you only have the money on transit on your Charlie card for transportation. So with your bank card, you can make sure that you have enough money, put your $50, you pay for your transportation, and then you move around as well. The limits also work with your card. So if you have a card and you've gone through the course of the day and there's a cap on how much you spend, as long as you use the same card, yeah, you get your discount. If not, you get charged. So if you go in and you tap with this card and the next journey you tap with another card, it's fresh. It started fresh. Always make sure you tap with the same card. Okay. There's also what's called a card clash, and that's the downside of using this. There's a card clash in the sense that if you top up with this card, and then on the way, if you tap in with this card on the way in, on the way out, if you tap in with another card or tap out with another card, you'll get charged twice. So you need to make sure that the card you tap in with is the same card you tap out with. In fact, don't do what I'm doing, which is basically go with this and tap, because if you tap like this, two cards could get charged. So you want to make sure you bring out the card and then you tap on it. Okay. That's something to watch out for, which most people don't know. Okay. So be careful. Make sure you bring out the one card that you're going to use and use it throughout the journey. I made a lot of mistakes like that where I go in and I bring out one card. I have several cards. So I bring out one card and I tap that one card, and then when I go out, I tap another card and I get charged twice. Be careful there, okay? So make sure you've got the one card and you use it throughout. The downside with this, if you can't see already, is look how heavy this is. So I've got about 12 cards in here, right? Credit card, debit cards, business cards, every card, ID, driver's license. There's a lot in here. It's risky to carry these things around. I talked about, the start of the story where, my friend got stabbed. I don't carry these things around anymore because of the risk. Also, don't forget again, Boston, huge 600,000 watt people in there. Not everyone there is good. Okay? There are bad people in this world. That means there are people that could snatch this wallet. There are people that could tap. There's what's called a scheming. Scheming basically is where someone comes in with a POS terminal, puts it near your card and just takes $10, $20 at a time. Go online and you see there's a lot of that happening. So what you don't want to do is carry a wallet around like this or put in your backpack. It's not worth the risk. There's a lot of information here. What you can do is also then pay with your phone. Okay, so I'm recording with my phone right here, so maybe I can't show you that in action. But what you can do is you can take your phone, and your phone can have a tokenized version of your card. What that means then is you don't have to carry all these cards around because you can have them on your phone. A digital wallet. The digital wallet is basically your bank card in a digital form on your phone. Guess what? That means you can tap your phone in and out as long as you see the wireless symbol on the machine. If that's on the machine, then you can tap into the train station, into the tube station, into the commuter rail, into the ferry. You can tap, and on your way out, you tap out as well with your phone. So that's a cool way, and that's a better way compared to carrying this huge wallet around. The downside with the phone, which you know as well, if you don't know, then guess what? You're a lucky person. But right now, I can tell you phones don't last a full day anymore. My battery, which I'm using here, is currently 15%. It's going to die soon. And so is your watch. So your Apple Watch device has we usually have a battery, and guess where your battery goes as well. So if you're commuting, if you're traveling, if you're going to work for the day, on the way back, your battery possibly die. So you don't want to rely on that for transport, which I've seen a lot of people say, oh, I could use my Apple Watch. Yeah, but your Apple Watch is going to die unless you go into the office and charge it. And if you don't, or if you go for a run during the day, or if you forget to charge it overnight, then you're stranded. And it's for that reason that I'll obviously recommend our rings, because these rings don't have battery. There's nothing in it. There's no battery in it. It's a bank on its own, a bank card on its own. In fact, there's a MasterCard chip in this one that I'm holding. So with this, you can just tap to pay as you do with your card, as you do with your phone, as you do with anything. Just tap to pay. And the advantage now is that you can also tap to buy food. If you want to go for lunch, tap. If you want to go for, for a run, tap. If you want to go... In fact, if you're a business owner, I want to go into your office, you can tap to go into your office, or you can tap to get into your car. We have customers who, pay extra to get that done as well. So they just rely on their phone. So on their rings. You don't need your phone anymore, don't need your wallet anymore, and you definitely don't need your car keys if you just have a ring. So now the ring just captures everything, and there's no need to rely on battery power again going forward. So I'd prefer that, especially when you go into a city where no one knows. In fact, most people still don't know about us, which is cool. That means people can walk around and maybe, I hope not. I've seen cases where someone, goes for the wallet and then forgets the ring, when the ring is actually the important part. So that's something to watch out for, and something I'd recommend. So be careful about various modes of transportation. There's 5, which I've said already, and in order of priority: cash is good, cash is king. Charlie card is better. Okay, the Charlie card I think is better because of safety, because of the fact you can load more on that instead of carrying cash around. But then again, the Charlie card will get lost, you're limited, it's closed loop, and that's where the wallet comes in. But then the wallet, again, the risk with this is someone steals that, you're gone. So be careful with that. Instead of bringing that out and walking around the train station with that, you go with your phone. But then, as I've said, that your phone, again, make sure you have your ring. Order one now to Orukka.com. I'll put the link in the description there. You can get a good deal on that as well, and just leave on your phone going forward, on your ring going forward. Okay. All right. Cheers, guys, and I'll talk to you later. And have a good one. And see you on the next one. Enjoy Boston, guys. Bye.